advised that the program may contain images of people who have died.
Tonight, we bring you a story of hope in a troubled community trying to change the lives of its young people. The outback town of Burke, with a population of 3,000, has grappled with a chronic crime problem for years. Juvenile detention is a rite of passage for many young Indigenous people in the town. 9 out of 10 boys who get locked up in Burke reoffend within 12 months. In the hope of reversing those statistics, the town has adopted a US program called Justice Reinvestment. It spends money not on prisons, but on community programs to keep kids out of jail. Jeff Thompson reports.
It's the last training session for Burke's footy team before the weekend's semi-final. It starts about an hour late, and not everybody makes it.
We're Craig.
Those who do show up bring buckets of determination and guts.
That should be a penalty. Mate, they play with their heart. These kids, these boys, they play against men. I've seen these boys get knocked down by men and get back up and run back in again. And it's unbelievable. They haven't got the strength they've got. Mate, they play for their lives, you know. They just love football.
At 36, Jonathan Knight's best playing years are behind him. But his team's never been better.
And I just can't believe that, you know, first year we might be going into the grand final if we win this weekend.
Jonathan's mate is Jamie Moore, the Burke Warriors coach.
We've come a long way this year anyway, boys. You know, I think the big goal is to bust Cobar. They beat us last game. But I think we've shown all year that, you know, we're the team to beat.
Jonathan and Jamie were born here and both know how easy it is to go off the rails. They've beaten alcohol and trouble with the law. Now they're trying to prove to Burke's boys that there's a better way to live.
Without football, these kids might be doing something or might be on the wrong path, you know, and with football, these kids are doing something positive.
Away from football training, there's not much at night for kids to do. Cops are busiest after dark.
How often do police come across kids on the streets in Burke at night?
I would say every night. I can't think of a night shift where there hasn't been a group of kids walking the street from any time from now up until 3, 4, 5 a.m.
And here's some just up ahead.
Burke's a town of 3,000, and it has the highest rate of criminal offences by young people in New South Wales. Just about all of them are committed by Aboriginal kids.
I've spoken to kids before and asked them why they, for instance, may have broken into a house when they know people are inside. And they normally reply with a smile that it's exciting. We get a buzz from it, we get a kick from it. And, you know, as our role in the grand scheme of things, I don't know how we deal with that. I don't know how we deter people that find something exciting when they're, say, 10, 12, 13 years old.
Hang on.
After 3 years driving these streets at night, Senior Constable Gavin Smith knows Burke's kids well.
Yeah, I don't wait till my brother did that to me. Not long now.
Is he your brother?
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
How old's
He's
he?
in now, isn't he?
Huh?
Where's he, in juvie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He in Sydney down there.
In Sydney, is he?
They moved them around all the time.
Yeah, right. When's he out?
Before Christmas.
Yeah.
It can be safer out here than at home, and detention is often no deterrent.
I actually dropped 2 kids, 2 13-year-olds yesterday to the airport. They were bail refused by the magistrate here for breaking into a series of vehicles and other thefts. And they were both excited like it was Christmas morning that they were going on a plane and to juvenile justice. They could tell me who was in JJ's in Dubbo and who they'd be catching up with and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, they're definitely excited about that. You know, in the juvenile setting, I know they're given 3 square meals a day, they're given warmth, schooling, activities, things like that. So, you know, and those things that could be missing in the family home here in Burke.
At the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about the best outcomes and best result, particularly for our children. And so I think it's quite fitting to, particularly with the age groups that we're focused on today through the working group being 8 to 18 years, it's Burke and community in a genuine partnership that's pioneering a new approach.
Alistair Ferguson is leading a fresh push by the Burke community to keep its young people out of jail. He was jailed as a young man too, for assaulting a police officer.
When I came out, I was 27, but it was a lot of time to think and put things in perspective, and then start looking at where I needed to be as a man, I guess. And I'm confident. I just certainly felt that I was, I had something to offer, and to contribute to, to ensure that particularly young people don't make the same mistakes. And I'll just
Burke's experiment is called Justice Reinvestment. It's about spending money on community programs to help people avoid jail rather than on locking them up.
So Justice Reinvestment is really about spending more on communities and less on prisons. So it involves working out ways that you can shift resources out of the prison system into early intervention and crime prevention and diversion. When the working groups come across an issue...
Lawyer Sarah Hopkins and her team brought the idea of justice reinvestment to Burke. The approach comes from the United States, where it's dramatically reducing prison populations.
An example is Texas. So in 2007, they were projecting they were going to need to spend an additional $2 billion because of the rising prison population. So they sat down and they thought hard about what they could do to stop that happening, is to stop that rising prison population. So they looked at some diversionary options, drug and alcohol programs, and they implemented an approach that meant that they saved the state $450 million. And that was because they could shelve the plan to build new prisons, and they were actually able to shut prisons.
But can an idea proven successful on the other side of the world work here in remote Australia, in a town with its own unique problems and history?
The Aboriginal Reserve, the dumping ground for the dark people of Burke, where citizens of one of the most affluent countries in the world live in deplorable circumstances.
In the 1940s, a reserve on the fringes of town became home for displaced Aborigines from over 20 different language groups. They were dirt poor.
No one pretends that in conditions like these, squalid, dirt-floored, tin-roofed humpies, there isn't fighting, drinking and disease. But for some who live here, it's a life they prefer, away from the town and the pressures of the white man's way.